This is the Lockpicking Lawyer, and I don't have a picking video for you today. I wanted to talk about a topic that you probably haven't heard much about, at least not from YouTube. There are many instructional videos about lockpicking on YouTube, some better than others, but all of these videos seem to be focused on providing the basic information needed to manipulate locks. And that's very important, of course, but none of them focus on how to develop yourself into a better picker. And I wanted to give you some thoughts that I have on that topic today. Now, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. There is a huge difference between learning how to pick a lock and learning how to pick locks. That's a very important distinction. And I think that many people become frustrated with picking because they taught themselves to pick particular locks and not how to pick locks. Now, this lock you see in front of you is an example. It's just a little Schlage key and knob cylinder, and a new picker wanting to learn how to pick this type of lock may get a lock just like this and start picking it. Now, the first time might take a while, the second time it'll be a little bit faster, and by the 10th or 20th time they're probably flying through this lock. And it's because they've learned the binding order, how it feels, the exact sweet spot for tensioning the lock, and all the little peculiarities of the lock that we exploit when we pick. The problem is that after going through that process and learning how to pick this lock, they think they've mastered this kind of lock. But then when they see another similar one, they have to start the whole process over again and learn how to pick another individual lock. And while I'm sure it's helpful and people do learn things from this, I don't think the process really helps us develop to our potential. Now, my view is to get the most out of your practice session, at least for me, you need to approach each lock as if it's one you've never seen before. Now, you obviously can't do that with a lock you just picked 15 times in a row. How do you do it? Well, it's really pretty simple. You never pick the same lock more than once in a row. So instead of picking this little Schlage 10 times in a row, I take out a tray like this, filled with similar locks, and I mix them all up and I start picking them one by one all the way through. And this is a mix of 5 and 6 pin locks with random bidding. About half of them I put security pins in. And with this many locks, I'm never able to remember the peculiarities of each lock. So it's like picking a new lock each time. And once I finish up, I mix them up and start again. And I do this for every single kind of lock out there. When I wanted to learn tubular locks, went out on eBay, went bargain hunting, and found I don't even have half left. I've given most of them away. But I found a whole bunch of tubular locks, and I went through the exact same process. And what else do I do when practicing? Say I sit down to watch a movie, I'll bring a carabiner full of locks like this. These are all 1100s, all used off of eBay, and I start picking them. Always mixing them up, never picking them in the same order or the same one more than once in a row. I do the same thing. Another good practice lock out there, these master Lotto Locks. And I have carabiners similar to this, full of, at least another half dozen different kinds of locks. And one of my favorite locks to pick is multi-locks, and I take the same approach to them. I take out my tray of multi-locks or multi-lock clones, as these two are, and I just pick them. Never in the same order, never more than once in a row for each one. Now, the point of this is every time I see a lock when I'm practicing, it's like I'm picking that lock for the first time. And it's especially great for things like these multi-locks, where if you pick one more than 2 or 3 times in a row, you've pretty much mastered it, at least if you were paying attention. But if you mix them up and go through them one by one, you'll never remember, what the peculiarities of this little lock were after you've picked another 10 of them and get back to it. Now you're probably thinking that doing something like this would cost a fortune, and thinking, no, I can never do something like that. And it's true, it would cost a lot to do this unless you're smart about it. With the exception of some of the multi-locks, every single lock I just showed you was the result of some serious eBay bargain hunting. Those key and knob cylinders were about 30 cents a piece. The tubular locks, well under $1. These 1100s here averaged about $4 a piece. The master lottos, about $3 a piece. And most of these locks, after I think I've spent enough time with them, I resell all but a couple of them on eBay. So this can be done without breaking the bank. But this is the process that I think teaches us to pick locks as opposed to learning how to pick particular locks. And I think it's what develops us into better pickers. Now, to see this in action, if you haven't watched my very first video, video number 1, I encourage you to go back and watch it. It's a video of part of a practice session when I'd only been picking for a couple of months. As you'll see, I take one after another of 1100s and I just pick them. As soon as I pick one, I take it out of the vise, put a new one in, and keep going. I think I've improved a lot since then, but this video is pretty representative of my picking practice even now. So, final thought. I know that picking style and development is something that's very personal to each picker, but I really would encourage you to give this a try, especially if you're just starting out, and see if you think it helps. Can't hurt. That's all I have for now. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please subscribe. And as always, have a nice day. Thank you.